night we pray, kneeling low, hear what we say. Freedom calls in every tone. Faith is built on hearts of stone. Vibes so raw, can't hide the truth. Words so sharp, they cut right through. Real talk for the soul's appeal. Prayers rise up, the wounds they heal. Lift our voices to the sky, a righteous perspective high. On this path we won't back down, for the Father wears the crown. Each step brings another fight. Breaking chains, we're seeking light. Voice of power won't be tamed. With His love, we're never ashamed. Lift our voices to the sky, a righteous perspective high. On this path we won't back down, for the Father wears the crown. From the ashes we shall rise. Hope is found deep in our eyes. Every word a battle cry. With the Father none deny.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Happy Tuesday, you guys. Appreciate you pulling up. We have 61 people in the chat right now. 61 people in the building, man. I appreciate you guys pulling up once again today. If you could, let me know where you are watching from, city, state. Let me know where you guys are watching the stream from, man. I thought yesterday's show was pretty good. Like I said, we are building the plane as we fly it. So I'm trying to get better at this live stream thing. You know, it's a struggle. It's a grind. What's going on, T.A. Caskey? What's happening with you, brother? Tim Barnett, Baltimore in the building. What's going on with you, man? What's going on with you? All right. Mondale says she likes the song. Scott Curry says, what is the name of this song and who is it from? The name of the song is called A Righteous Perspective. And I actually had the song created just for me. It was some of the things that I was working on while I was on vacation. And, you know, I had somebody put it together. I guess I may need to put it out in some shape, way, form, or fashion where you guys can get a hold of it. Man, in my opinion, I've listened to the song a lot of times. And it's jamming. It is jamming. It really is. It's a really, really nice song, nice message. That guitar riff that's in that thing is just jamming. So, yeah, that's it's an original song. I don't think you're not gonna be able to find it on iTunes or anything along those lines. I have it. I own it. So maybe I'll put it out and give you guys an opportunity if you want to download it for free or something like that. I got to figure out how I can actually do that so you guys can have access to that. But I'm glad you guys enjoy the song, man. I thought it was jamming. The first time I heard it, when I got it back, I was like, man, this joint is jamming. This is it. This is it. It's a great song to kind of get things kicked off, man. So happy Tuesday, man. How was the work day? I'm sure some of you guys are at work watching the stream, watching the broadcast. And appreciate everybody that pulled up yesterday, man. I enjoyed myself. I hope you guys enjoyed the show as well. Let's go in and look at the chat, see where everybody is calling from or joining from. So we got, is it V Monty, Northeast Ohio in the building? Already shout out Tim Barnett, Baltimore in the building, my Baltimore brethren. What's going on, brother? We got Modell out of GA, Bucky Nance out of La Mesa, Texas. What's going on? Jane, is it Fecto? I hope I pronounced that properly, out of Vegas. I like Vegas. Vegas is one of my favorite places. I just can't stay out there too long. We got Tina Oakley out of Eastern Shore, VA. We got Eli Nevada in the building. What's going on, Miss Vicky? How you doing today? Scott Curry out of Peru, Illinois. What's going on, Dennis? How you doing today? We got OKC in the building. CDJ out of Oklahoma City. Los Angeles. What's going on, Dino? How you doing? Appreciate you, Tim, man. I appreciate the love, man. It's been a process, to say the least. I'm coming up on my anniversary on YouTube. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's December 29th when I posted my first video on the channel. I think at that time I had 2 subscribers, and I didn't really know what I was doing. I've gone back and looked at some of those videos from almost a year ago, and goodness gracious, man, that's just like, it kind of makes you cringe. But that's the game. That's the game. You just try to get better and better, 1% better, every day. That's the goal. And just try to bring some solid content to you guys on a day-to-day basis. We have a great show. We got a couple of quick little stories that we want to talk about. And then obviously we have to talk about, Luigi. We got to talk about him. And then we're going to talk about Joe Biden as well. He gave a speech to the nation. We're going to discuss that as well. We got a great show today. I think later in the week, we will definitely have a call-in show. I enjoy speaking to you guys. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but I try to drop the link. Don't be afraid. If you want to come on, you don't have to show your face. I know we had Eric that, came on. I believe it was Friday when we discussed Daniel Penny having the first charge, the most serious charge, tossed out. And I appreciate Eric joining the stream. That was really, really dope. And I enjoy having conversations with you guys. It's one thing for me to talk to you guys through this. And I promise you, it takes some getting used to speaking to yourself, through this camera. And, you're kind of waiting on feedback through the comments and things of that nature. So it's definitely a challenge. But I appreciate you, Renetta. Wow, great job. Yeah, man, it's been a grind. But I enjoy it. I enjoy doing this. I enjoy speaking to you guys. I enjoy staying up to date on what's happening in the world, what's happening in this country. Obviously, we're past the election and we're moving in the other things, and we're getting closer and closer to January 20th. I'm definitely looking forward to that. Obviously, the holidays is upon us. I know a lot of you guys are spending money. Please don't go in debt buying gifts for people, and buying toys for kids that don't appreciate it. Don't do it. My wife and I, we've gotten to a point now where we do not exchange gifts anymore because she just realized that when I want something, I just go get it, and vice versa. If she tells me that, hey, babe, I'm thinking about something, go get it. Well, you don't have to wait for a Christmas or a birthday. Just go make it happen. But yeah, we got Uno out of PA in the building. We got Melinda out of Childress, Texas in the building. JD out of Washington, D.C. Man, we got some folks that's close by. Amber Young says she loves the song. Yeah, the song is jamming. I'm going to have to figure out how I can make it either downloadable or something along those lines where you guys can get it. You know what? I got something. I got something. I'm going to put it out on the channel. I'll make sure that you guys don't have to pay for it or anything like that. I'll put it on the channel. I'll download it in some kind of way, upload it on the channel, and I'll make it to where you guys can get a hold of it. That way you can kind of bump it in the car, because it definitely sounds good. It's a great song. Sounds good in the car too, man. It jams. And I thought the same thing, JD. I thought that, it hit. I had some key things that I wanted to have in the song, and man, knocked it out of the park, man, to say the least. TA says work is work. Trust me, I understand. Jeanette in the building. What's going on out of PA? She says she loves that song, lyrics and the tune. Yeah, it's jamming. Sylvia out of Texas. You know, Mondale, the little she, her, she said she likes it. Who was that? Is it Michigan? I hope I'm pronouncing that, out of Maryland. Shout out to you, sister. Another Marylander in the building. Wow, we got a lot of Maryland in here. If y'all see me out in the streets, man, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to you know, say what's up to me. You know, one of the brothers, you know, the gym I go to, he ran into me and he was a little apprehensive. I'm a regular guy. You know, I'm not some superstar or famous person. I'm just a regular guy talking ish on the internet. So if you see me out in the streets out here in Maryland, don't be afraid. Come up and say what's up. Come up and say what's up. We got Stephanie Gamble out of North Carolina. Dennis out of Dennis, South Carolina. Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. I appreciate you guys pulling up today. And, you know, we got T.A. Caskey, the mod, in the building. Shout out to you, brother. Hey, keep it peaceful in the chat. But again, like I said yesterday, I don't want to censor anybody. As long as you're not attacking anybody personally or you're not cussing and, you know, threatening folks like that, man, you have the right on this platform to speak your mind. You have the right on this platform to speak your mind. I ask that it's civil. Civil discourse is good. It's okay to agree to disagree. It's okay to debate back and forth in the chat. I'm okay with that. I don't want to live in some world where it's an echo chamber like we're on the left. I don't like that. I don't want to live in that world. It's okay if people disagree. I'm 100% okay with that. Just keep it peaceful, keep it civil, and keep it respectful. All right. All right. We got Carol Davis out of, Idaho. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. What is that? Cor D'Aline? I hope I said that right. Yeah, Stephanie anniversary. Thank you for the happy anniversary. Yeah, been watching since right after you started. Wow. That's awesome, man. I appreciate that, man. Shout out to you, Kenny. What's going on, man? I see you in the chat or in the comments all the time, brother. I appreciate you supporting the brother. And we're going to get this thing cracking, man. I don't know if you guys heard the news, but just to get things going, make sure before we get started, for sure, make sure y'all hit the like button. Thank you, T.A. Caskey. Make sure y'all hit the like button. That is the #1 way that you can support the channel, support the stream, support the broadcast tonight. If you feel so inclined that you'd like to support the channel financially, there's some ways to go about doing that. Super chat, super thanks. If you check the description, there's some other ways there to do that as well. And man, I appreciate the guys that supported me yesterday. You know, brother Ron and BT. Appreciate you guys. Duke, I know he was in the chat last night, you know, kind of going back and forth with folks, but it's okay. It is okay. I appreciate people, you know, coming in. You have the right, you know, to speak your mind and speak your piece. You don't have to agree, you know, but I still definitely appreciate you rocking. Hopefully when I have a call-in show, maybe we can get some of you guys to call in, you know, and voice your opinion on the channel. You know? Yeah, let's see if we got anybody else. Did I miss anybody else in the building? All right. Hey, Susanna, how you doing today? Susanna's in the building. Crystal McQueen, born in Baltimore, raised in North Carolina. All right. KDD out of Baltimore. Okay, that's what's up. That is what's up. Absolutely, man. Show some love to the mods, man. They do a great job. You guys have done a great job, and I appreciate you guys supporting me, man. But we're gonna get this thing cracking, man. Let's get it popping. First things first, we got to talk about Mitch McConnell real fast, man. I know you guys heard the news. He had a fall. I think he, you know, ended up busting his face or something along those lines. Yeah, man, it's a mess, man. A mess. Let's get into it real quick.
Bit of breaking news to bring to you right now. We've gotten word that Republican leader Mitch McConnell has taken a fall. It happened during the Senate Republican lunch today. 2 medical responders were seen briefly entering the office. Afterward, they have now left. Our Jay O'Brien is on the Hill. Jay, what more do we know?
Yeah, Kira, we know essentially what you know, which is that Mitch McConnell had that fall during the weekly Senate Republican lunch. Obviously, it was in the view of the Senate Republican Conference and his colleagues. He is currently in his office. Last we were aware, he was visited briefly by 2 medical responders who went into his office, briefly visited with McConnell, and then left. John Thune, who's the incoming Senate Majority Leader who is taking over for McConnell, has said that McConnell is fine and that he's in his office. That is the extent of what we know of McConnell's condition after that fall. But remember, Kira, this comes after McConnell had a series of public falls over the years. And then, of course, those 2 instances in which he froze up in public before television cameras. Those occurred in the summer of 2023. It was because of concerns about his age, Kira, that McConnell decided to step down from Republican leadership, which he's now done.
And we'll never forget those 2 times on live television when he literally froze in the middle of events up there on the Hill. Well,
Hey, let me pull this up. Yeah, it is past time for, old Mitch to retire. Laura Loomer here on X. She says, Laura Loomer was like one of the first ones, that I saw on X that mentioned this. She said Mitch McConnell fell inside the U.S. Senate and he's now getting medical care. The Senate is a senior care facility with full amenities. And she's absolutely right, man. I mean, Mitch McConnell, I hate to say this, man, because I don't like to, talk about, our senior citizens. I really don't. But are we past time for daggone term limits? You're not supposed to die in office, man. You're just not. How many of these people? We have entirely too many senior citizens that should be chilling on the golf course in some senior facility, living their best life, living out the rest of their days. Come on, man. It's getting out of hand. There's a number of them that I can think of off the top of my head. Mitch McConnell's one of them. You got Maxine Waters, another. Nancy Pelosi, another. The list goes on, man. The list goes on. It is entirely too many elderly people sitting in these spots. It's time for us to get some young, innovative minds in the Senate. It's past time, to be honest with you. And I mean, granted, in fact, I know they're not going to pass it. They're not going to pass term limits because they don't want to mess up their money. And truly, it's not even about, some of it is about the money, but a lot of it is about control. You see right here, it says Nick Sorter, is it just in Mitch McConnell failed the Senate GOP. We talked about that. He's obviously had some mental or medical issues over the years, including freezing up. I don't know if you guys remember this. Let me know in the chat if you guys can hear this, because I think it did mention that my audio might have been off. Can you guys hear this? This is when he froze one at a time. I don't know if it's the first or the second time that he froze, but it's sad. Okay, you guys can hear me, but can't hear the sound here. Okay, we're gonna have to fix that. Got you. All right, we'll get that rectified here in a second. But yeah, it's a mess, man. It's another thing where he froze. You guys aren't gonna be able to hear it, but I still want to show it to you. You'll see him freeze here. I mean, this is a mess, man. This should not be happening. Once you get to this point, where is his family at to say, you know what? Come on, Pop. Come on, Pop. Come on, and it's time to hang it up. I mean, if you guys recall, I'm sure you guys recall, Dianne Feinstein, they were basically telling her what to do. She was still in office and couldn't even speak. And I don't say that to denigrate. I don't say that to talk bad about these people. I'm just saying, something's got to shake here. Something has got to shake, for real. I gotta X that out and reshare. The other thing I want to talk about today as well is, and let me give a quick shout out to Thomas. Appreciate you, Thomas. $5 super sticker. I appreciate you supporting this stream tonight. Very, very much appreciated. And yes, we are past due for daggone term limits, man. Seriously. But it's about the money, man. They have access to information, insider trading, that they will not vote against because, it's a vote against their own interests. That's pretty much what that is. Let's get into the next story here. This is impact of Helene still going on. We talked about this yesterday briefly. The people of Western North Carolina are still in dire need out there. Vice President-elect J.D. Vance went down there to just tour and see what's going on down there. And then I also want to show you guys something as well from when Kamala Harris went down there. There is a guy, I believe he was the National Guard, National Guard member, and he had some pretty scathing things to say about Kamala Harris. Give me 1 second. Let me pull that up for you.
toured parts of western North Carolina today and received updates on hurricane relief, Hurricane Helene recovery efforts. Our Sydney Shadracks was there as he...
Before I play, can you guys hear that? I want to make sure that you guys can hear it before I keep going. I hope so. Yeah, but that's a mess, man. But this situation right here, man, it's just, yeah, FEMA got up there. Oh, okay, you guys can hear it. Okay, perfect.
Vice President-elect J.D. Vance toured parts of western North Carolina today and received updates on hurricane relief, Hurricane Helene recovery efforts. Our Sydney Shadracks was there as he toured parts of Fairview devastated by the hurricane.
Vice President-elect J.D. Vance had two messages as he toured western North Carolina today. One, that the people here have not been forgotten, and two, that the federal government could be and should be doing more. Vance's first stop was the Fairview Volunteer Fire Department, where he met with first responders and the family of Battalion Chief Tony Ray Garrison, who died while rescuing others in the midst of Helene. He also visited a home destroyed by the hurricane, now the site of a Samaritan's Purse recovery project. While there, he expressed frustration about the response from insurance companies in the wake of the hurricane.
There are so many layers to recovery, and unfortunately, one of the biggest complaints that I've heard today is that a lot of insurance companies who should be doing their job and should be doing right by these people are not actually stepping up, are not giving people what was promised, and when you have big gaps left by
Go figure, the insurance companies, they take your money. They'll take your money. But Lord forbid if they have to pay you. Goodness gracious, you got to fight these people tooth and nail to get what you're owed.
these companies, unfortunately, a lot of private citizens have to step in to fill those gaps, and that's exactly what Samaritan's Purse is doing.
Vice President-elect Vance also saying today that there must be improvements when it comes to communication infrastructure, calling it a disgrace that people were not able to communicate with their families during and after the hurricane. Vice President-elect Vance also saying that as we approach the holiday season, he hopes that Americans will look to the people here in western North Carolina who have lost everything and continue to persevere as the ultimate example of Christmas spirit. In Buncombe County, Sydney Shadrack.
Yeah, this is sad, man. And they're talking about sending money over to, sending money over to Syria. And obviously we've sent $700 million back over to Ukraine. I mean, this is a mess. And we have people right here in our country that need our support. And the thing is that we don't know who we can trust when it comes to sending money for aid. We don't know the companies that you can trust, that you can send your money to and know that they're going to do the right things. That's the other crazy thing. It's like, hey, there's a ton of people out there that want to help, but it's like you send a couple dollars. You don't know, is that money going to the people who are actually in need, or is this money funding some daggone executive? These nonprofits, they got 25 executives all making, 100, 150, 200,000, $250,000 a year. And only 10% of the bread actually goes to the people that are in need. That's what's wrong with this, man. But I want you guys to hear this right here, from this situation. This guy right here basically just calls out Kamala Harris and the fake hurricane relief photo op. Check this out right here, man.
And then also from that video, I started getting a lot of messages to my Instagram from actual aircraft commanders, squadron commanders.
No kidding.
I had a squadron commander from North Carolina reach out to me. They had to load a C-17 full of supplies just to take a photo op for Kamala, and they never sent the bird.
Wait a minute, what?
They loaded an entire C-17.
Now, y'all hear that? If you guys know anything about military aircraft, C-17, that is a ginormous plane. It's huge. They took the picture, didn't send the aid. Come on, man. This is ridiculous.
Full of supplies for the hurricane victims, just for Kamala to go there, take a photo, take a video, and they never sent the C-17. It was just
Are you
full.
serious?
Yeah, that was a National Guard, North Carolina National Guard unit. That was a 06 that reached out to me. And then I had another.
He reached out to you to tell you that they did a photo op and with the intention of never sending.
Never sent it. It was just a photo op. And then all.
That's crazy. That's the type of shenanigans. Those are the kind of shenanigans that was going on in the Kamala Harris campaign. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. God don't like ugly. He do not like ugly. That's just another reason why she lost. Another reason. This is not she wasn't a serious person. Not a serious person. Y'all load a bird full of supplies just so this woman can go and take a daggone picture, and you don't send the daggone supplies. It's sad. And the people down there they're in dire need. They're in dire need. I want to show you guys something. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'm going to make myself bigger. I want to show you guys something. One of my friends, he went down to North Carolina, I believe last weekend or weekend before last. And I think he texted it to me. Give me a second. I want you guys to see this. He went down there and, oh yeah, he texted it to me. Give me 1 second. I got to pull it up here. And he was down there helping to rebuild and things of that nature. And man, it's just a mess. It really is, man. And I want to show you this. This is heartbreaking, man. When y'all see this footage here. I wish I'd have had it pulled up already. My apologies. Give me 1 second. Yeah, it's sad, man. And that's how they do American citizens. That's how they do us. We're in dire need. They're sending money to other countries. Sad, man. Oh. All right, I'm gonna have to mute the music for copyright purposes. Give me 1 second. Let me make sure I can make this a little bigger so you guys can see it. Uh-oh. Can you guys see this? Man, they got the writing all in the way. I don't know if it's gonna work. I'm gonna have to try to pull it up another way. But yeah, man, it's the damage is just devastating. It's just devastating. The amount of damage that is still there, and those people are sleeping in tents. Now, this is Western North Carolina. This is Appalachia. It's cold out there. It's cold out there. I had heard that at least 1 or 2 people had passed from sleeping from frostbite or were frozen from sleeping in tents, out there. I mean, it's ridiculous. And we're sending money across to other countries, and we have our own people that we need to take care of, man. It's just really, really sad. Really sad. Want to chat and see if I see anything. Yeah, it's really sad, man. All right, here we go.
Tracks that I previously said were destroyed during Helene. There's still a lot of people here working on them, but they did get them up and running order. That was a top priority after Helene, so that's one of the very first things that they did. No, they're down there still working. But it was the top priority to get these railroads fixed. So fortunately, because of that, now I can show you all these cars coming in. And a semi behind me.
And this is...
So I'm going to pull off.
The sad part about it too is, they gave these folks, a couple dollars. Some people said it was a loan. I don't know how accurate that is. That the money was a loan. I don't know how accurate that is, but I heard that it was
here at the bottom. So we used to park our extra vehicles or camper or anything that we may have brought up in the mountains with us, right down here next to this semi.
Yeah, it don't make sense, man. And the fact that this lady did a photo op with the supplies and did not send the supplies, that just goes to show you how evil these people are on the left. And they just don't care. Do not care. We're going to take a quick break. This broadcast today is brought to you by our sponsor, Lear Capital, and then we'll be back to get into, the main topics, the main stories for the day. We'll be right back. Let me be brutally honest with you all. Our American values and financial system are under attack right now. You need to act fast and learn alternative ways to invest. That's why I trust Lear Capital for buying gold and silver. In today's volatile economic and political climate, precious metals can protect your wealth. Lear Capital has over 27 years of experience, thousands of 5-star reviews, and more than 3 billion in trusted transactions. Here's what I recommend. Call Lear Capital today, 800-489-6450, or visit learrp.com to request their free gold and silver investor kit. You can take possession of your metals, store them, or even roll over an IRA or a 401k into a gold IRA with the same tax benefits. Plus, they're offering up to $15,000 in bonus gold for qualified purchases. Call today at 800-489-6450 or go to learrp.com for more information. All right, if you haven't done so already, go over to learrp.com, go check them out, see what they have to offer. Obviously, gold has gone up tremendously. There's a lot going on in the finance world, but go over to learrp.com. Doesn't hurt you anything to go check them out. But yeah, man, I appreciate you guys pulling up today. So we're going to get into the first feature story here. And I want to start off by talking a bit about what's going on in New York, because goodness gracious, this United Healthcare CEO story, it just keeps getting crazier and crazier by the day. When this thing first kicked off, I was on vacation, so I didn't really get an opportunity to cover the story early on. But over the weekend, there's been a lot to come out and so much more. And the police now, they have caught a suspect in the United CEO's death. They do have a suspect now. His name is Luigi Mangione, a 26-year-old Ivy League kid out of Maryland who got caught at a McDonald's with a manifesto in his bag. So that happened. And well, some of the reactions on the left are wild, to say the least. But before we get into that, let's take a look at who this Luigi Mangione is and what we know about him so far.
Overnight in New York, Luigi Mangione was charged with murder in the death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. It comes after a multi-day manhunt led police to Altoona, Pennsylvania, where Mangione was taken into custody. Authorities finding 3 pages of writings which say, in part, frankly, these parasites had it coming. A senior law enforcement official briefed on the investigation confirms to NBC News. The writings also include a line that says, "I do apologize for any strife or traumas, but it had to be done," the official said. Now, more background on the suspect's past emerging. His family carving both financial and political footprints in Baltimore, where they own 2 country clubs. And his cousin Nino Mangione is a Republican state legislator.
Thank you all for being here to celebrate Gilman's 116th Founders Day.
Mangione attended the private all-boys Gilman School in Baltimore, where he was class valedictorian in 2016. Mangione was also Ivy League educated, the University of Pennsylvania confirming he earned a bachelor's degree and a master's in engineering. Investigators say they're doing a complete scrub of Mangione's online posts, including Goodreads, where he quoted this take of the Unabomber. When all other forms of communication fail, violence is necessary to survive. Mangione calling it interesting. And a post elsewhere of an x-ray of a back. Two senior law enforcement officials tell NBC News investigators are looking into whether it belongs to Mangione and whether it has anything to do with the crime. His last known address was in Honolulu. A friend from Hawaii told CNN Mangione struggled with back pain.
He confirmed that he had surgery and he sent me the x-rays. It looked heinous.
Another friend telling The Times, Mangione's family said that they had not heard from him in several months after his surgery. A friend from college telling NBC he's shocked.
He really just struck me as another Ivy League student who enjoyed going to frat parties, good looking, confident, nothing particular about him.
It's so interesting to start this profile starts to get filled out. Yeah. What do we know about his friends and family? I mean, some of them had been looking for him.
Absolutely. So what we know are two things here that are really relevant with conversations with those in his orbit. One, the suspect was clearly in a lot of back pain over a period of time. And two, somewhere between 6 months and a year out, guys, he just went off the grid. Friends and family outreach went completely unreturned. What the connection may or may not be between these two things, we don't know. The only thing that is clear is that this outcome has shocked a lot of people.
Yeah. Sam, thank you very much.
Hey. Yeah. So first off, let's break down what happened real fast. And let me go ahead and take that off the screen real quick. Let's break down what happened real fast. So Luigi Mangione, a 26-year-old University European graduate, was arrested in Altoona, Pennsylvania, after a McDonald's employee recognized him from the widely circulated images of the suspect. I mean, this arrest followed the targeted killing of Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare, who was shot outside a hotel in Midtown Manhattan last week. Mangione was carrying a ghost gun, which is a weapon without a serial number, which matched the firearm used in the unaliving, we can't say that word, along with the suppressor and multiple fake IDs. This guy was prepared, and the police believed he acted all by himself. That's what they believe. Now let's delve into Luigi's background here for a quick second. From Maryland, he comes from a prominent family out here in Maryland. He went to Gilman. I don't know how many of you guys, I know we got a multitude of people in the chat from Maryland. You guys know what time it is with Gilman. That is a great school. He was valedictorian of the high school, and there's some very intelligent people that go to school, and it costs a whole heck of a lot of money to go to that school as well. And he went on to earn a bachelor's and a master's degree in comp sci from an Ivy League school, University of Penn. So here's a man who had everything going for him. Everything. At least it seemed that way. Yet chose this path. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. But this raises a lot of questions about motive, and the authorities have found a handwritten document on him that points to some deep-seated issues with the health insurance industry, which sure, I don't think anyone's a big fan of big insurance in this day and age. But come on, man, to go to these types of lengths, he just had to flat out snap. All right, Susanna, I see you. I appreciate you pulling up. Anyway, what's even more telling is the manifesto that Mangione had, which basically criticized corporate America and the health insurance industry. So this seems to suggest that there is a motive here. It definitely seems like that.
What's going on in New York? We were just talking about it. That CEO got whacked.
Oh my God, dude.
You know what's funny? I was sitting there reading an article, guy. They go, "Oh my God, he's such a great guy. He had a wife and kids, and he's such a great guy." And then you find out he and the other guys he's working for are getting sued for $121 million for dumping a stock.
$121 million.
And not letting the other people know. It's like, there's your motive.
Dude, anytime I hear CEO of one of the biggest healthcare, it's like, you don't wish it on anybody. You feel horrible for his kids and his wife, of course.
On a recent
Yeah. So, yeah. I'll be the first to admit, man, our healthcare in this country, the system, it's broken. It is broken. Not many people are arguing that. I haven't heard anybody try to come to the defense of the healthcare industry. People are paying insane premiums. Families are going broke over medical bills. And yes, corporate greed is a part of the problem. This thing started, it goes back to, at minimum, probably goes back past the Obamacare, an Obama administration. But when they implemented this Obamacare, premiums went through the roof. Deductibles got just outrageous. You don't have to dig too deep to find how this guy, would snap. You just don't. The United Health CEO, along with other executives, were being sued for $121 million for dumping stock and screwing over investors. Talk about shady business practices, man. Come on, man. This is ridiculous. It's awful. And honestly, it's not a laughing matter, but, it's so sad that you have to laugh at it and these people are continuing to get away with it. But here's the deal. An assassination, honestly, in my opinion, it's not the solution. That's not how we fix this mess. It's not how we solve things. And what's even more disgusting is how certain parts of the left are reacting to this foolishness. They're out here celebrating the unaliving of a CEO, celebrating this. You've got journalists out there like Taylor Lorenz openly saying she felt vindicated and joyful about this guy's demise on live TV. Have you guys seen that? This is crazy. You guys got to see this, man. This is outrageous. These people are these are some real, just demonic people, man, to be thinking and talking like this.
Of what you said and inferring that you were feeling joyful about what had happened to this guy. So we've got the clip and we'll just play it back just to remind you.
Mm-hmm. I do believe in the sanctity of life. And I think that's why I felt, along with so many other Americans, joy, unfortunately, because it feels like...
Serious?
I mean...
Joy in a man's execution?
Maybe not joy, but certainly not... No, what I said, certainly not empathy. This is literally...
So you felt joy? You felt joy.
I'm so glad that you played that clip, because you'll see that I didn't say that I felt joy.
And then she said she misspoke and clarified.
Oh.
And I didn't say that I felt joy.
You don't think, Mark, it was more that she wished she hadn't said she felt joy? Because she suddenly realized how bad it sounded.
Why don't you listen to that clip again? Because I don't say that I feel joy in the man's death. I said I feel joy because, and that's exactly when you cut me off. And if you let me finish,
Bullshit.
I would say, I feel joy.
Bullshit.
Oh, bullshit, Piers. You don't know what was in your head.
That's not. She's right. She's right, Piers.
Bullshit.
She actually said, "I feel joy," and then you interrupted her there. Perhaps I don't know what she was going to say, but she certainly didn't get a chance to finish.
Well, now, why is Mark Lamont Hill caping? Why is he caping?
The viewers can watch the whole thing in the right context.
And you may not realize this, but
we don't censor things here. Mark, I don't know why you're going out of your way to defend her, mate. Because Taylor, let's be honest, you know what you said. You wish you hadn't said it. Truth. Let me give Taylor an opportunity. Would you like to apologise for using the word joy?
Again, if you take the word joy completely out of context
it
from the word that I said
context. Would you like
it
to?
Was because
would you like to
I'm so glad
apologise?
you just
Yes or
played
no?
the clip.
Yes or no?
You just played the clip that showed that I said I feel joy because, and that's right when you cut me off. So let me tell you why I feel joy. I feel joy because people like you, who are rich and powerful and on TV and have all the access to all the healthcare privileges in the world, are finally being forced to pay attention to the barbaric healthcare system that murders tens of thousands of innocent Americans. And that is what I feel joy in, that people like you are forced to confront those systemic problems. That's what I'm joyful.
Yeah, I knew it would be my fault as well at some stage.
That's disgusting, man. Disturbing. I mean, we're definitely paying attention. But I don't think any one of us would take matters into our own hands like this. Let's just keep it real. We wouldn't. Violence doesn't fix anything. Also, it's rich to claim that her comment was taken out of context, but people like her did this to Trump and his supporters for years without a care in the world. And they continue to do it to this day. But context, really. Context. All right, let's talk some context for a quick second. So last week, right after United Healthcare CEO is unalive, Taylor Lorenz hops onto Blue Sky. And for those that aren't familiar with Blue Sky, it's a competitor to X. From what I've heard, I'm not on it, don't plan on getting on it, but it's a place for kooky creatures, like Taylor Lorenz. But she jumps on the Blue Sky, and what does she do? She writes, and I quote, "And people wonder why we want these executives dead." This is what she wrote. She wrote it on Blue Sky. You can criticize the healthcare industry without basically promoting violence, Taylor. You can do that. She then went on saying stuff like, people have very justified hatred towards insurance company CEOs because these executives are responsible for an unfathomable amount of death and suffering. And yeah, people should be mad. But to dance on this man's grave, honestly, I don't know if he's even been put in the ground yet. But to dance on this man's grave, a man who has just been unalive, who is a husband, who has children, these people, they have no heart, man. This is not just the CEO. This man is a father. There are some children that are going to grow up without their dad now. If this doesn't show you where some folks' heads are at on the left, I honestly don't know what does. These are some evil people. Now, fast forward to this week after Luigi Mangione, the alleged, culprit of this act, is caught and the heat is on. Lorenz tries to pivot. She's on national TV on Piers Morgan's show, and suddenly her tune changes. She's like, I absolutely never said I felt joy about this man's death. I said very clearly that I was feeling joy that the rich elite pundits like Piers and other multimillionaire media figures and political leaders are being forced to confront the barbaric nature of our healthcare system. Let's keep it real here for a second. Her initial Blue Sky posts were clear as day. She was celebrating this. She wasn't critiquing this. She was celebrating this. She was celebrating the crime. She was celebrating this man's demise. And now she's trying to backtrack, saying that her words were twisted, but the internet does not forget. The internet is forever. And, it will always come back and bite you in the behind. Check this out.
To the sentiment, people do want these executives dead. If you have
but you
watched,
said we want them dead, and I guess that's...
look, I'm gonna say I'm with the people in the sense that if you have watched a loved one die because insurance has denied them life-saving essential health care, it is natural to wish that the people who run those systems would suffer the same fate as your loved one. And millions of people across America have had this experience. So yes, am I, when I say, do I wish someone dead, is that advocating for them to be killed? No, of course not. But am I going to shed tears or have a lot of empathy for somebody that has facilitated the deaths of thousands of innocent Americans through intentionally denying them coverage? I am not going to, weep over it. I do think that loss of life is a tragedy. I'm very against death generally, as a principle. But I think, again, why do we mourn certain deaths and condone other deaths of innocent, vulnerable people?
Oh my goodness, man. Just how unreal. This is unreal, man. How does these leftists celebrate this? And for us, on the right, those of us that are conservatives, those of us that are Christians, this right here is a perfect example of the left's hypocrisy. These are the same people that they stand on this, moral high ground. They preach empathy, justice, and all that good stuff. But when it comes down to it, some of them are ready to pop the champagne over someone's demise because they don't like what the person stands for or how they make their money. But this isn't just about one CEO either. This really shows the radicalization of the left, or at least, I think in a different light, we've seen this before with BLM, with the BLM riots, with the Roe v. Wade protest. And now this situation here, they're fine with violence as long as it pushes their agenda. And that's sad. Meanwhile, the media stays silent, or worse, they excuse the behavior. That's what's disgusting about it, is that you have people in the mainstream media that actually excuse this stuff. They're too busy trying to paint conservatives as the real radicals, but cut it out, man. Cut it out. But you guys got to see this, man. How's this for radical?
Guy that killed the UHC CEO. For such a professional hit, it's kind of weird that the gunman didn't leave the US. The guy that reported it was a McDonald's worker. I would never advocate for violence on my page. But it would be pretty funny if we beat the shit out of him, and then when he went to the hospital, that if he was out of network and had to pay a huge bill, I think that would be funny. I'm not advocating for it, but it would bring a smile to my face.
Yeah, these people are crazy. These people are crazy. These are crazy folks. This lady comes out here and says, I would never advocate for violence. I wouldn't advocate violence, but it'd be pretty funny if we beat them up. These people are ridiculous, man. The guy who caught the suspect, and you can't make this stuff up. I mean, they want to beat the dude up. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if I would have ran across the dude, I'd have turned him in as well. It's $60,000 reward. There's a $60,000 reward on that man's head. So if I'd have ran across him, I'm definitely calling. I could use that $60,000. I don't care what they're talking about. But who's really obsessed with violence, man? I mean, this type of thinking has infiltrated mainstream leftist media and social discourse. And honestly, man, it has to stop. It's got to stop, man. You don't only have so-called journalists glorifying this, but also regular people. And like I said, I definitely understand. In our healthcare system, it's a complete mess right now. But glorifying the demise because you disagree with someone's job or politics, I mean, we've got a serious problem in this country. If this was a so-called right-wing extremist, we'd have wall-to-wall coverage and demands for new laws to crack down on conservatives. You guys know it. But when it comes to folks on the left, they just look the other way, man. They don't care. It's always the same excuses. It's just a fringe group. It's not representative. How many times have we heard that? How many? Meanwhile, the violence keeps escalating and no one seems to care. And the media's refusal to call these radicals out, I mean, it speaks volumes. It tells you exactly what they think. Honestly, there's an old phrase that says, silence gives consent. So they're actually consenting to this rhetoric. And why is it always coming, from the usual suspects? People like this particular individual. Uh-oh, I think I lost the video. But yeah, the professor, it was a professor here, at the University of Penn. Oh, I showed that clip already. Okay. But, it's just so sad, man. And these are the type of people, this professor that we saw, at Penn, these are the people teaching the kids in college. It's just sad. You send your kids off to these colleges and you don't know who's educating your kids. Honestly, it's not even education. It's who's indoctrinating your children. Also, I wonder, do all these weak, gun-hating leftists who don't like the police, but also don't want to be held responsible for their own safety, really want to live in a world where, of vigilante justice? Do they really want to live in a world like that? They might want to think this thing through a little bit. Either way, this is a dangerous path, that we're going down. When people think, vigilante justice is okay, it sets a precedence that we really don't want to deal with. Today, it's a healthcare CEO. Tomorrow, who knows? And if we don't start calling this out, if we don't hold the left accountable for their open embrace of violence, things are going to get worse. Now, I know some of you guys might be thinking, but what about the healthcare system? Yeah, the healthcare system needs some work. What about the people dying because they can't afford care? I get that too. And it does need some work. But what I do know is that the system is failing a whole lot of folks. But we don't want to solve that by turning into anarchists. You know what I'm saying? That's not how we solve this. We solve it by electing leaders who actually care about fixing the system, not the ones who want to burn it all down. And at the end of the day, this assassination is a tragedy. It's a tragedy. Brian Thompson, again, he was a husband, he was a father, and no matter, what his company was doing, he didn't deserve this. And the fact that some people are celebrating it, that's a sign of how far we've fallen as a society. It's time to wake up, folks. Let's stop excusing this madness. Let's stop excusing this type of behavior. And let's start demanding accountability from the left, from the media, and from anyone who thinks that violence is the answer. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to get back into it. But speaking of electing leaders who actually care about fixing the system, who actually care about accountability, we're going to shift gears, after the break. We're going to talk about Biden's latest speech from today's, when he spoke to the American people on the economy. We'll be back in about 30 seconds, maybe a minute, something along those lines. I appreciate you guys rocking with me. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Hit the like button. That's all I ask for. All right, so we have Biden out there talking about how the economy's doing great. I don't know if you guys saw that, but he is talking about how the economy is doing great. Let's keep it real, folks. The numbers don't lie, and they're telling a completely different story than what the White House wants us to believe. It's like they're trying to gaslight us into thinking that we're all living in some economic utopia when apparently even rich folks aren't doing so great right now. And that they're taking upon themselves to go after high-level execs over insurance premiums. So, yeah, tell me more about how the economy is doing great, Joe. Seriously. There are so many people out of work right now. People are applying for positions and they're finding out that, 1,000 people applied to the position within an hour or two that it was posted. It's crazy right now out there, but the economy is phenomenal.
Last month, I spoke to the Economic Club of Washington, D.C. about the pivotal actions we took to rescue the economy from the devastating harm caused by the way, in my view, the pandemic was handled, and how we delivered immediate economic relief to those most in need. We got back to full employment, got inflation back down, managed a soft landing that most people thought was not very much likely to happen. Today, here at Brookings Institution, I'd like to talk about the pivotal actions we've taken to rebuild the economy for the long haul, and how we're at a critical, in my view, moment in the direction of the economy is going to take. Next month, my administration will end and a new administration will begin. Most economists agree the new administration is going to inherit a fairly strong economy, at least at the moment. An economy going through fundamental transformation that's laid out a stronger foundation and a sustainable, broad-based, highly productive growth. That is my profound hope that the new administration will preserve and build on this progress.
Okay. I don't know if you guys could understand anything that he was saying. The words were kind of slurring and running together, but I mean, goodness gracious. Not Biden, he's already trying to take credit for Trump's future economy. He's already preparing. And, the people who believe this foolishness, they're preparing as well. They're already preparing to take credit for Trump's future economy. And he hasn't even left office yet, folks. Remember how Obama did the same thing? It's like they have this playbook of claiming success for anything good that happens, even when it's not due to their policies. It's a classic move, man. Classic. When the economy's up, it's because of their brilliance. When it's down, it's because of the last guy. But let's look at the economy. Let's look at the reality of it. Under Biden, inflation's been skyrocketing. I don't think anybody can refute that. Prices at the grocery store are outrageous, and people are feeling the pinch more than ever. Real wages have been decreasing, and so-called job growth, come on, man. A lot of that's just people getting their old jobs back after the lockdowns, not new jobs being created. There also count anybody that works a part-time job, that counts as employment. Anybody that works a contract position, even if it's just a couple of days throughout that month, it counts as employment. Anybody that's working any type of gig work, whether you're driving, you're an Uber driver, Lyft, you're doing Uber Eats, DoorDash, all of that counts as you're employed. It's gig, but that's gig work. How many of you guys, somebody in the chat, man, let me know. How many of you guys know people working at least 2 jobs? Meaning they probably have a job and maybe they, drive Uber on the weekends or, DoorDash on the weekends or Uber Eats on the weekends. They're doing something to, make a couple extra dollars on the weekends. I know so many people like that. I had to get some windshield wipers not too long ago. I go in there, brother in there yawning, and it was like middle of the day. And I was like, man, you all right? He was like, man, I got 3 jobs. Don't get an off day. Don't get an off day. 3 jobs. I'm like, how are you doing it? He's like, man, I got kids, my wife. I gotta do what I gotta do. This man is working himself to the bone. I mean, the national debt right now has ballooned under Biden, and we're spending money that we don't have. I don't know if you guys seen the video, that I reacted to on Sunday, and we were talking about the tariffs. Would you be okay with raising the tariffs if it eliminated the federal tax? But they also talked about how much money is being spent. They're bringing in a little over $4 trillion a year from us, but they're spending like $6.1 trillion a year. We're literally operating in a deficit annually. You couldn't run a company like that and maintain your business. It's crazy. We're literally spending money that we don't have. And it's going to bite us in the behind in the future. And let's not even start on the energy costs. Let's not start on that. My I know our BGU bill here at the house, it's been crazy all year long. Normally, in the normal, back in the day, we used to get a little bit of a break during the fall months when you could, not this year. And the summer was crazy. With Biden's war on American energy independence, gas prices have gone absolutely crazy. And if anybody knows anything about Baltimore and people with the bridge going down and people got to travel a lot further, they're sitting in more traffic, that situation just costs people more money. The economy right now is not great. It's not great, folks. But Biden's out there spinning tales of economic recovery, and for most Americans, it feels like we're in a recession, not a boom. Now, I've been saying this on the channel for a little bit. We've probably been in a recession going back to 2022, maybe even 2021, because that's when the layoffs started. The first year, 2021 layoffs started. It was more blue collar jobs. 2022, it was more the tech jobs. Go look at what's going on in the tech industry right now. The competition is fierce for an opportunity. It is fierce for an opportunity. The stock market's volatility, the housing market's instability, and the fact that essentials are becoming basically unaffordable for many families tells us the real story of what's going on. And not to mention, when your Medicare premiums go up in 2025. Think about that, man. My grandmother's on Medicare, and she was talking about it. I mean, this is just a reminder that it's because of Joe Biden and Kamala, they raided Medicare to fund their green energy agenda. So when people ask, oh, well, why are people, taking it up themselves to, go after CEOs in cold blood? And not that I condone this at all, because I don't. We just talked about it. But I think what happened is horrible and it's despicable. But when people ask, how did we get here? Maybe we should remember that, this current administration has put us in a daggone bind. But this isn't just about the numbers. It's about how people are living their lives. When you got folks taking matters into their own hands because they're fed up with the system, that's not a sign of economic health. It's just not. It's a sign that something's deeply wrong. Something is very, very off with our economy and with the system. So Biden, tell me again how the economy is doing so great. While people are struggling to make ends meet, while entrepreneurs are closing up shop because of inflation, and while the middle class is getting squeezed to death. But let's be honest, this poor guy, he's got no idea what the heck is going on. Not at all. I mean, it's crazy.
Well, one of the things that's going on here, they just turned off my, I'm going to go on. I lost the electricity here. But anyway, one of the things we found is that, we invented the computer chip, size of the tip of your little finger.
What is he talking about? What is he talking about? Seriously. What the heck is he talking about, man? This poor guy is lost. Any sort of electricity, I mean, he's lost that a long time ago. He hasn't even been functioning as our president. We've been the laughing stock. We've shown ourselves to be weak because of this guy. The real action's got to be happening somewhere else, though. I mean, who in the world is leading our country right now? Somebody answer that question. Kamala Harris was gallivanting all around the city, spending over $2 billion to lose an election. So she wasn't running things. Joe Biden literally didn't really speak to the American people for months after he just stepped down and decided that, or was told that he can't run anymore. Who's running things right now? Meanwhile, you got world leaders bypassing the White House to meet with Trump at Mar-a-Lago. And Trump's out there engaging with international figures like he's still in office or like he is currently in office right now. It's clear as day. Biden hasn't been the president in any meaningful sense for a long time at this point, if he ever was in charge. It could be a situation where this is truly Barack Obama's third term. This could be. I mean, this guy, he's a puppet. And not a very good one at that. But the strings are being pulled by someone else. And they're not doing a great job either, whoever that someone else is. And the world sees it. Our allies see it. And our enemies, well, they're probably laughing at us, but we've only got a little bit over or a little over a month to go. You know, and boy, am I looking forward to this. I'm definitely looking forward to this. Finally got somebody in there that's going to show us as strong. Because we've been looking weak on the world stage for 4 years. Absolutely. They definitely have googly eyes for Trump. You're right, Ed. 41 more days, man. 41 more days. Can't get here fast enough. Look how you do hand like, come here. Oh yeah. We are back. It's about daggone time, man. And the leftist media tells us that this man doesn't command respect on the world stage. These people are ridiculous, man. They said that this man does not command respect on the world stage. Come on, man, cut it out. The boss is back, man, and they know it. They know it. And they've already forgotten about Biden. Don't let the media and the Democrats fool you. The world is excited about Trump coming back. And it's because they see in them a leader, flaws and all. No one's perfect. I'm not saying that he's flawless. No one is. But he's a leader who's actually engaged with the real issues. He's a leader that's actually engaged in what's going on. And that's what we've got going on right now. We got a guy that may not even know where he is half the daggone time. I mean, Biden's been a facade, it's been a shadow of leadership. And the contrast couldn't be clearer. Couldn't be clearer. While Biden's out here fumbling over words, losing his train of thought, the world is looking towards Trump. Despite everything. He's always managed to command attention and respect. So as we approach the end of Biden's term, and thank you, Lord, that it's coming so fast, let's not forget the lesson here. Leadership isn't about having the right titles or being in the right place. It's about showing up. It's about engaging. And it's about leading with conviction. Trump's been doing that even out of office, while Biden's been a placeholder, a figurehead, to say the least. And if you ask me, the excitement around Trump's return isn't just about him. It's about a return to an America that leads, that inspires, and that doesn't just talk about change, but actually makes it happen. So are you guys ready for this, man? Are you guys ready for this? I think the world's answer is a resounding yes. They're ready for a leader who's not just present in body, but in spirit and action. And if the media and the Democrats try to spin this in any other way, that right there just tells you that they're just out of touch with reality. And that's my take on this, folks. Whether you love him, hate him, Trump's influence is undeniable. In Biden's presidency, it's been a lesson in what not to do going forward. And I hope that the American people learn from it. This past 4 years has not been good. And this is probably going to go down as one of the worst administrations, at least in modern U.S. history. I can't speak to some administrations, and people have tried to tell me like, oh, there was an administration, 100 years ago that was worse. I don't know. I wasn't alive then, so I can't really say. We can read the history books, and I guess the history books could tell us, but it's time, like Kenny said, it's time to get the Trump train rolling. It's time. And for those that, watch the channel that may be on the left, you probably didn't support Donald Trump, you didn't vote for him, and that's okay. We still love you. It's okay. But what I will tell you is, don't cry over spilled milk. And when the ship starts to turn and the opportunities start to present itself, do everything that you can to take advantage of those opportunities. Because the last time around, 2016, 17, 18, business was booming. Business was booming. Interest rates were low. Businesses were being started. Got to go take advantage, man. Got to take advantage of the opportunities when they present themselves. Seriously. Hey, TA, let us just hold on to 2020, going into 2025. Let's not think about the daggone midterms. We'll get there when we get there. We'll get there when we get there. Let's just celebrate the wins right now. The midterms are going to be something else. And there's going to be some rhinos that's got to get up out of here too. There's some rhinos that folks need to keep their eyes on, and we'll be talking about it on the channel. But there's some rhinos that they got to get up out of here too. But I appreciate you guys pulling up today, man. I really, really appreciate you guys pulling up today, man. I enjoy doing this. I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. It's pretty much all I have for you guys. Like I said, as far as the song, the ARP song, I will figure a way to get it out there. Maybe it's something that I'll release, as something for the members, for if you're a member of the channel, you'll get access to it, just to kind of give a perk, for those guys, because I definitely appreciate the people who support the channel on a month-to-month basis, man. I really, really appreciate you guys. Consider joining the ARP family. It supports the channel. And, if you are a platinum member, you get a chance to chop it up with me on Monday morning. So, there's a link in there, and you'll be able to chop it up with me Monday mornings. And, it's face-to-face. It's not one of these. It's not a live stream or anything. It's just time to get on, and we can chop it up and talk about whatever you would like to talk about, So, I look forward to that, as that continues to grow as well. And, again, man, I appreciate you guys, man. Shout out to the mods, T.A. Caskey. Shout out to Susanna65. I know she had to roll out. She had a sick dog. Shout out to Thomas for the $5 super sticker. Appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Appreciate you guys pulling up. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. And as I always say, keep God first in your life, man. Stay prayed up. Be thankful as we get closer and closer to the holidays. Just be thankful, man. Don't go put yourself in debt trying to buy gifts, because that's not what it's about. It's really about celebrating Christ and celebrating his life. And honestly, it's also about just fellowshipping and celebrating the time that we get to hang out and just spend with our families. And I think that's the most important thing, in my opinion. So appreciate you guys pulling up again. I will catch up with you guys tomorrow. Peace.
Vibes so raw, can't hide the truth. Words so sharp,